Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? First in Trail Duds. Well, it's fourth in. M.W. Hayes. How's it going, man? Shane Lalonde. Steve Parsons. Eric. John Burnell. Drew Wilson's in the house. We got who else? Nemo's Forge. Man, I ain't seen you in forever. How you doing? Yeah, you're like one of my best friends, Nemo's Forge. Paul Orchard, good morning. Ben Toombs, get out of here. Thomas Goodamoot's in the house, representing. And yes, Bortagov, Transcendental Artist Studios, my co-host. How's everybody doing? Um, yeah, so Metal Bloobs, what's up? Um,
Morning, boobs.
morning. I'm wondering if I properly set up the stream. I think I did. All right. Anyway, I guess we'll kind of jump right into the "How was your week" segment because I have a little bit of interesting stuff. A little bit. Yeah, you guys aren't really interested in what I'm doing. You all don't care. Nobody wants to hear what I do. Um, Alexis, how was your? I know you've had a busy week. Last week you were in the hiking the mountains and doing the live show from the car. Um, and I believe you worked like 77 straight hours. You know,
Well, honestly, it wasn't quite that. It wasn't quite that bad.
you're
So
you're only you're only saying that after 9 hours of sleep.
that's right. That's right. 'Cause, I mean, like okay. So I'm typically the person that I can literally stay up till midnight, and then alarm goes off at 4 a.m. to get up and do it all over again. I as long as I get 4 hours of sleep, I'm good. I mean, well, not good, but I can make it work. And so, anyways, like. Yeah, I got 9 hours of sleep last night. That was amazing. I'm telling you right now. It's been a hot minute since I've gotten to sleep that long. Even on vacation, it's like, we wind up staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock, and then it's alarm going off at 5 a.m. to get up and go do it again. So I had a very interesting, let's say 8 days, because we did touch base in the car on my way back from Colorado. But yeah, I took my two youngest daughters up to Colorado to visit with my dad, and that was fun. It was still snowy up there, so the kids got to throw snowballs at me, and I went inside to do something, and while I was inside, they were like making snowballs and lining them up like a machine gun, like so they could just like grab them and and so that was a blast. I had a good time there. Helped my dad with a few little projects he had going on, and all in all, it was a really good visit. I had a blast. My kids had a blast. Um, and then we left Sunday morning, as per evidenced by the show last week, and drove my happy butt all the way back to the house in Texas, and dropped my kids off. Got home about 3:30 in the afternoon ish. Kicked the kids out and out of the car, and not the house. Kicked the kids out of the car and proceeded on to Austin. Got my hotel room in Austin. Got up at 6 in the morning. Drove over to the Capitol and met with my group there. We did all our training stuff on how to talk to legislators, this, that, and the other, and then we went and did our little protest thing in front of the Capitol. Went inside and I got the opportunity to talk to 5 representatives and 1 senator. And then I came home, back to work Tuesday, and then I came back on Tuesday, so I worked Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and wound up with 56 hours in those 3 days. So, I worked just enough to pay the bills because last week I only had 12 hours. So the 56 this week in 3 days really saved my bacon there. I'll have just enough to cover all the bills, and no worries. Let's see what else is going on. That is basically it. I mean, yeah, lots of traveling. I was thinking, I got a message yesterday about another bill coming up, and I got a message to go testify in front of the Senate tomorrow. And I've just had so much. I mean, been going and going and going so much. I decided that I'm just not gonna. I need to take a little time for self care, and so I'm going to take, since I'm not working tomorrow either. Today I got today and tomorrow. There's just nothing going on, so I'm going to take a little take a little me time and try to kind of relax and, for lack of a better term, get my shit together, and level myself back out. So that is my week in a nutshell. And I think today is going to be, I got a little bit of work to do on my pickup after the show. I got to figure out why my brake lights aren't working after I change brake light bulbs, and figure out why one of my brand new headlights isn't working. And then after that, it's just going to be like a little bit of cleaning and this, that, and the other. And yeah, the weather's really nice, so I may get out. I may get out to the shop and light a fire and work on a couple projects that are partially done. So that's my week in a nutshell. Yamez, how was your week?
Busy, busy, busy as usual. And, it had ups, it had downs, all that fun stuff. Lost $100, gained 27 pounds, not here, but out in the shop. I'll get to that. Work was a little slow this week. That's just the nature of the beast. It's, early spring was typically our slow period, and we actually didn't see that past few years. So I only had like 28 hours this week. But yeah, I've got to break that. I've got to get out of that I'm busy, don't do anything, don't do anything to hurt myself, habit, and actually start getting out to the shop when I get off early, instead of coming in here and, putzing around on the computer or binge watching, 9 hours of The Walking Dead. But yeah, so let me see. I ended up cashing out a little bit of crypto, because I've got my truck repair scheduled. Tomorrow after work, I will be dropping my truck off at the mechanic, and I believe next Thursday or Friday, I will be picking it up and paying them roughly $1,200. And for those of you who think like, oh, crypto, blah, 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 this is paid for because of crypto. So, yeah. And so finally, I will be getting my pitman arm changed and 4 new tires. And I'm going to, maybe, I think I'll take one of my rear tires, which isn't in terrible shape, and have them put it on my spare rim, because my spare rim tire is showing, like, my spare tire has the metal bands showing. So I'll finally have a spare tire again. And yeah, that's, long time coming for that. I believe at some point today I've got to take the truck up to the gas station and put some diesel in it, but I'm unsure if it will make it. I've pretty much kept my tank empty with just a little bit of diesel stabilizing, anti-gel shit stuff, hot mic, into it. And so I gotta, get some diesel in there to take it to the mechanic, which is a 15-minute drive. Meh, yes. So in essence, my truck will be at Quad State, unless there's another major issue, because I still have to get it, get the tire. They don't do alignments over at the mechanic shop that I'm bringing it to. So after I get it fixed with the pitman arm and everything, I've got to take it, and the new tires, I've got to take it to a shop to get the tires, aligned, and yeah, or get the wheels aligned. And the last time I did that, the guy, there was like a freaking $1,500 bill to change all sorts of, front end brackets and stuff like that, front end assemblies. And there was like one part that he didn't have and couldn't get. And he says, well, I can't properly, I'll align them as best I can, but I can't properly align them unless this part's changed, and it'll be $700, blah, blah, blah. but that was like 10 years ago, and no, 8 years ago, whatever. Um, and it hasn't had any problems except for the tires rub weird. So I don't think that I don't think that having the tires slightly misaligned will prevent me from going to quad state. It just means that the tires will not last a 40,000 miles that they're supposed to. But you know,
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
you're like, yeah, I'm not kidding in that truck.
No, I'm just saying a proper alignment is as long as your front end parts aren't wore out, which I thought that's what you're getting replaced. If you're getting the front end replaced, I would highly recommend, parts of it anyways. I would highly recommend that alignment because
No,
I like when I was in Germany, my best friend over there had a 928 Porsche, and he spun out on some black ice and tapped a guardrail. Did $21,000 worth of damage to an $8,000 car, but it was still drivable. And the tires on that thing in 1995 were like $300 each, and he had to buy new front tires because he messed them up when he spun out, and they lasted 800 miles.
right.
Because the alignment out, and he was down to court in 800 miles. So I would recommend spending the $150 on the alignment and not having to buy tires for 5 years over getting one trip to quad state out of a set of $500 set of tires.
No, yeah, I'm going to. My worry is that I'll take it to I'm gonna get if I take it to an alignment place and they go, oh, we can't align them because your insert made up mechanics word here is low on bendiness. Mechanics always try to screw me over. But yeah, like it's like, oh yeah, it's going to cost $1,000 to align your tires. Well, that's not happening this year.
Well, I mean, and well, never mind. You don't have the capability. As I said, you can technically do the alignment yourself with a tape measure and get it close enough to not wear tires out. Because I used to do my own alignments on my race cars, but you don't have the never mind.
I don't have a tape measure, so I can't do that.
Yeah, it's you don't. Yeah, I'm not. Never mind.
I don't possess the mechanical skills to align my tires.
Correct.
Yes, it's okay. I'm not a mechanic. Y'all can say that. Y'all know that. But anyway, so that's some fun news and stuff. I'm looking forward to that, but also dreading it. I hate spending money. So it depresses me. It depressed me to no end that I sold some crypto. Because that one that I'm in, that one that I sold, it's like, that 1,200 that I pulled out, like I know that in the next few years, like that's going to be like 120,000. So it's like I'm going to be scrambling to put some more into it during this bear market, not to go into crypto and everything, but yeah. So it's like I gotta refill my stockpile. I gotta refill my dragon's hoard.
John Burnell, that is a fair point. Race cars don't go 4,000 miles on a set of tires. I was probably lucky to get 5 miles out of a set of tires. I mean, but we, towed out, with softener, towed out a quarter of an inch, tire softener on them and all that. 10 lap heat, a 10 lap heat 4 mile. That's what, 2 miles, and then 20 lap main. That's 4 miles, so 6 miles, and I can get about 3 races out of a set of tires. So 18 miles on a set of tires. So that's a good alignment.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, that's just the way it was. But in any case,
words and numbers.
Since you've gone ahead and splurged on the getting your truck fixed, I'll go ahead and look into getting my plane tickets to fly over to your place for quad state. So
cool. Yeah. The plan is to have the vehicle working.
Because it's for those of you wondering why would I fly to Yama's is because Yama's doesn't have anybody to drive with, and it's $500 for me to fly to his place and then drive up, or it's $900 for me to just fly straight to John's. So I mean, it's $400 cheaper, the same distance, and I get to hang out with a friend for a couple days. So
Yeah.
bonus.
And I'll get somebody to drive through the mountains for me.
Yeah, because it's really irritating trying to watch your Yamas drive through the Virginias at freaking 25 miles an hour.
Hey, slow and steady wins the race. But
Like, look over there. No, I'm not looking. No, I'm not looking.
But yeah, so with that also, like I said, I had a very a lot of things going on this week. With that, I was working on the octopus, on cleaning it up and getting it ready to. Tonight I am going to. All right, so I got them all cleaned up. I've got all the arms. I did the math, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be this corner, that's going to be that corner. Like this is it. Put together the puzzle piece of putting the body together, and I threw up some tack welds and ran some beads and whatnot. Blah 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 blah, and spent several hours doing that to try and get it right and good so that it will forge weld. Because the next step tonight. And everybody cross your fingers. This may be a fail. And if it is a fail, I am going to completely redirect my plans on what this octopus is going to be made of and look like. I'm going to attempt to forge weld the body together. I've only got 2 arms. And it is 27.5 pounds total. I weighed it. And it's bulky, it's awkward, it's going to be crazy, crazy hot because that head is about the size of a 16-pound sledgehammer. And I've got to get it up to forge welding temperature and hold it there. Actually, a little bit above forge welding temperature because then I'm going to be double arming it and pull it out, lay it on the anvil, and then grab a hammer. So I've got to get it above so that as it comes down, it is still within forge welding range. It is bigger than my fire pot. Okay, so I may set up my outdoor forge that I got from Mr. Allen Hubcap, and because it's got a larger fire pot, it just consumes a lot more coal.
I didn't know you got a portable forge from Stumpy.
Yeah, I got a portable forge from Captain Hubcap. Yarg. One thought would be turning this octopus into a peg leg for him. Anyway, just walk around on 8 legs or 9. It would be 9.
Come on now. He's not even here to hear the good jokes.
I know. But yeah, anyway, so tonight is going to be either
John, it would be really tough for me to fly all the way over there to help him forge weld that.
Yeah, it absolutely would. I've contacted a few people in my area that are close to me, and not a single one of them wants to help.
Oh, that's so sad.
I
honestly, closer, I would come help.
All by myself. That one's for you, Bill. Don't want to be all by myself. I was told never to sing during my streams, so I'm going to make it a priority to sing during every single stream from here on out. All right. I might even start, writing them as musicals. So it's like, so how were you doing this week? How was your week? Just make it a musical.
That's lots of fun.
Anyway, so yeah, tonight's show is either going to be a minor, it is going to be a pass fail. Either it is going to work and I am going to leap with joy and probably break things in my shop out of happiness, or it is going to be a massive failure and I'm going to break things in my shop out of anger. you know. So I kind of want to promote this as a make it or break it stream, and I'd like as many people to tune in to watch me either, you know, succeed spectacularly in one of the largest forge welding endeavors that I've ever taken on, or fail spectacularly trying one of the largest forge welding endeavors that I've ever taken on, you know. And I will very probably be doing it wrong, and I will very probably make a lot of mistakes, and I feel very nervous about it, and I am terrified of doing it live, but I thrive under pressure, so I'd like to have at least 300 people watching me.
You know, and something I just thought of. Due to the amount of time it's going to take to heat up, you should probably start considerably before you go live, getting that thing heating up.
You know, usually what I do is I'll have the fire going in the piece to show you guys everything. In this instance, I won't be able to do that. It will be in the fire long before. You know,
I'd say otherwise we're going to have an hour and a half of sitting around bullshitting, waiting on it to heat up. And the last minutes of the show is you going to be over at the power hammer trying to set.
No, I don't know if I'm going to use the power hammer. I might do it outside because of the amount of.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
I might do it outside because of the amount of slag and hot crap coming off of it. Would be easier to control. It would be that one thing less for me to worry about. Okay.
Right.
So, and I'm thinking of like my plans for it are to bring not my anvil out, but my what's it called? Bakos. You know,
anvil?
my Bakos out. Yeah, my Bakos out because it's got a wider face, and I could literally set it because of its shape and everything. I could literally set it right next to the forge, so it's, you know, out of the forge onto the anvil, out of the forge onto the anvil, you know, and it would be in the forge, heat, out of the forge, tap, into the forge, heat, out of the forge, tap. It'll just be a long process. So we'll see what I can do, and we'll see if it'll work. I can't guarantee the exact outcome of the show, but dang it, don't y'all just love it when I fail? So let's get it on. Anyway, so that's my week. I'm sorry that took me freaking 20 minutes to get through. And our topics today. Our topic today, we were discussing last night, and we didn't realize that March had 5 months, and we were trying to keep March Celtic because of, you know, the Celts are a foosball team, and sports ball is big, and March Madness and all of that, and, you know, no, it's because of St. Patrick's Day. And we're like, man, we're going to do another show on something Celtic. It's like, nah, let's do something fun. And so we picked Titanium, which we have done before, and Timascus, which we have not done before, and which we would all love to play with some Timascus. When I will be 100% honest, when I first heard the term Timascus, I did not think Titanium Damascus. I thought Tim from Big Dog Forge's brand of Damascus. You know, I thought Timascus was a big dog term. You know, I really did. So, let's see. Deranged Metal Works. I see that today's subject is Timascus. I have a bucket full of titanium turns from machining that I plan on making Damascus with. Well, before you just jump into, you know, throwing them into a fire and going at it, there is quite a bit of interesting info on Timascus. Now, would we like to start with titanium or Timascus? I've been talking a lot. You go ahead. I'm going to give my vocal cords a rest.
What? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was.
I was
I was
saying,
I was all up in the chat and not even paying attention to what you were saying.
I was saying, we'll start with titanium, give my vocal cords a rest before I go on to Timascus.
All right. Okay. So we've covered titanium before because which one of us hasn't watched like that episode of Knife or Death where that guy won with the titanium sword that he made himself and gone, wow, that's pretty awesome. And also, of course, I've made that titanium core carbon fiber Bowie knife, which I actually I took with me to Colorado so my dad could check it out, and then I surreptitiously left it in his knick-knack display case with a couple of the other items that I've made him in the past, and he hit me up sometime later and or whatever. Anyways, so yeah, left that there because I don't really need it. It was a one-off piece that I thought was interesting, and everybody that grabs it goes, "Wow, it's so light." Yeah, it's 2 millimeters of carbon fiber and a half a millimeter of titanium. Good stuff. So titanium is a chemical element with the symbol Ti and atomic number 22, found only in nature in the form of titanium dioxide. It can be reduced to produce a lustrous transition metal with a silver color, low density, high strength, resistant to corrosion in seawater, aquaregia, and chlorine. Melting point is 3,034 degrees Fahrenheit or 1668 Celsius in non-freedom units. And it's I don't know, it's really in my personal opinion, it's really fun stuff to work with just because it's interesting. Like I love grinding it. Like those just explosion like white sparks that come off of it. I mean, the sparks that come off titanium when you're grinding it are
They're beautiful.
just really, no, it's beautiful. It's really, really pretty. I love watching a titanium be ground. But my problem is like, I bought a, 18 months ago or whatever, I bought a titanium rod to forge or whatever. I don't remember. I think it was like 1 centimeter, 10 millimeter piece, maybe 10 inches long, something like that. Anyways, yeah, that's about right. I got it hot and I managed to flatten the whole thing out into like a piece that is maybe 3 millimeters tall by 5 wide, something like that. I don't know. Maybe a little bit wider, maybe 10 wide. And yeah, that's about right, 10 wide. And after spending the amount of time that I did, because I mean, you stick titanium in the forge, you bring it out, and you got 3 hits.
Mhm.
That's it. After the 3rd hit, it's not moving anymore, and you're wasting your time. And so, it comes out white hot, yellow hot. I mean, screaming like, it's like forge welding temperature for steel. And then you got 3 hot, and because titanium doesn't conduct heat very well. It goes away really, really quickly. And that was very disheartening because it took me the better part of an hour to flatten out this piece of titanium this long. And I'm just like, all right, I'm going to give this up and I will take it with me to Quad State and I'm going to flatten this thing out on the tire hammer. And then I forgot to bring it with me. So I am going to try to remember this year to bring it with me. And perhaps I'll fire up the power hammer at Yamez's place when I get there and beat it flat. And try not to break anything. I'll try not to be like Yamez and Hubcap Shop. And but no, I really do like titanium because it's. I mean, okay, so technically, I guess you can't make a knife out of titanium because you can't harden it. But do you need to? I'm not really sure. I mean, there are actually alloys of titanium that are hardenable, but I don't think they're hardenable in the
in the common sense.
Yeah, kind of like H13, where it's got this real crazy hardening process, so there's that.
Yeah, like it's got to be in a molten salt bath, and then liquid nitrogen.
22 hours,
Yeah, it's got to be held in pure full moonlight, for 6 hours, under a harvest moon,
right.
While you sprinkle rosemary and thyme and sage on it and sing, John Denver songs.
And of course, I mean, we can't talk about a metal that is also an element without talking about what?
Isotopes.
That's right, isotopes. You read my mind. How did you even know I was going to go there?
I miss isotopes. We haven't talked isotopes in forever.
I know, right? I mean, it's so rare that I even bring that up these days. So naturally occurring titanium is okay. Use your word, use your words, Alexa. Naturally occurring titanium is composed of 5 stable isotopes: titanium 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50, with 48 being the most abundant. 73.8% of all titanium on Earth is titanium 48. At least 21 radioisotopes have been characterized, with the most stable of which are 44, with a half-life of 63 years. 45 has 184.8 minutes. Titanium 51 is 5 minutes, and titanium 52 is 1.7 minutes. All other radioactive isotopes have half-lives of less than 33 seconds, with the majority of less than half a second.
That's pretty quick.
That is pretty quick. The isotopes of it does what's the word I'm looking for? It does decay. It does decay into stable titanium relatively quickly when you wind up with a radioactive isotope. So the isotopes of titanium range in atomic weight from 39.002 to 63.999. And I actually don't know what the Dalton. Okay, the Dalton, or Unified Atomic Mass Unit, is a non-SI unit of mass. Okay, so that's a mass unit called a Dalton. So the atomic weight is from 39.002 Dalton to 63.999 Dalton. And there is a term I did not know until just now. So learn something every day.
Yeah.
The primary decay mode for isotopes is lighter, or the primary decay mode for isotopes lighter than 46 is positron emission, with the exception of 44, which undergoes electron capture, leading to isotopes of scandium. The primary mode for isotopes heavier than 50 is beta emission, leading to isotopes of vanadium. So titanium becomes radioactive upon bombardment with deuterions, emitting mainly positrons and hard gamma rays. So anyways, there's the isotopes and the decay chain thereof. The most common uses of titanium is titanium nitride, a refractory solid exhibiting extreme hardness, thermal electrical conductivity, and a high melting point. Titanium nitride has a hardness equivalent to sapphire and carborundum, 9.0 on the Mohs scale, so only exceeded by diamond, and is often used to coat cutting tools such as drill bits. It is also used as a gold-colored decorative finish and has a barrier layer in semiconductor fabrication, titanium carbide, which is also very hard, found in cutting tools and coating. And so, in our neck of the genre of niche metalworking, we often come into our most common contact with titanium is going to be titanium nitride on our little gold-colored drill bits. That is, I mean, I'm sure everybody here owns a drill bit that's coated with titanium nitride. And, there's, probably about 30 other things that you can do with titanium that nobody really cares about other than the drill bits. And because I am a former A-10 crew chief, titanium in the thickness of about 1.5 inches was used to make the armor bathtub in the A-10 Warthog. So yeah, the pilot was surrounded by basically a titanium bathtub that would take up to a 23 millimeter projectile without being punctured. And when I was in the Air Force, titanium was so expensive that they were, whenever a titanium plate, because they were plates that were probably about this big, and they're all bolted in there or whatever, and anytime a titanium plate had to be replaced, they were replacing it with an aluminum plate of twice the thickness. So an aluminum plate with twice the thickness had a comparable weight and the same projectile
Stoppage power.
stopping power. It would still meet the specifications of the titanium plate and be close enough to not severely alter the weight distribution of the aircraft. So that's what I have on titanium. That is not just rehashing the same stuff that I went over 9 months ago. And so now let's talk about some Timascus, which honestly, until last night, we never really even didn't talk about it last time, and I don't know why, but this stuff is, like
it's
all
amazing.
morning, I've been going, wow, how did I not even realize this was a thing, and why haven't I owned any yet? And so, Yamez, tell us a little bit about Timascus.
Right. Now I want to get my hands on some Timascus, and Deranged, you said that you were going to attempt to make some, and you had mentioned that you were going to go ahead and put it in a canister because you didn't want to see the white hot light shows from burning and melt, the titanium at forge welding temperature, at titanium welding temperature. I will tell you this: if you were to take a stack of titanium and just like weld it together and toss it in your fire, you would not get a forge weld. So let me read this little blurb about it that I uncovered. It actually has a lot of cool information and a lot of surprising information. What is Timascus? Explaining the Material by Larry Connolly. This was written in 2015. An innovative new material, titanium Damascus, or Timascus, is the creation of a talented group of friends, Tom Ferry, Bill Cottrell, and Chuck Bybee. Bybee had first come up with the idea of a titanium-based Damascus and spoke with Tom Ferry, a metal mastersmith, about his idea at various knife shows and venues. But the discussion has always ended with Ferry doubting that such a laminate material could be produced. Finally, Ferry's own curiosity led him to try. He suffered several failures, including a mishap that sent liquid titanium spraying all over his shop, setting it ablaze. After weeks of research, before approaching fellow smith Bill Cottrell for his thoughts, they developed a process that was successful immediately and were very quick to put a patent on it. U.S. patent number 6857558, issued on February 22nd, 2005. Subsequent experiments have led to the refining the process and developing other patterns. So let me pause right there real quick and say the process for making Timascus is a patented process. So I find that kind of interesting, and we'll delve into the legalities of all of that, just out of curiosity down the line. That's interesting that they patented the process. The technical specs of the patent is the way this seems to read, consisting of 2 or more titanium alloys, currently CP and 6ALV4V. Timascus is corrosion resistant, non-magnetic, and lightweight. It is a beautiful upscale look of steel Damascus without any of the disadvantages that steel can disappoint some knife makers and collectors. Timascus is made by placing these 2 different alloys of titanium into a metal box and then filling the enclosure with inert gas and applying both heat and pressure to have the 2 alloys forge laminated together. When coloring, the current formulation seems to show more contrast using heat rather than anodization. All current safe coloring techniques can be applied to Timascus. Future alloy combinations will have different color profiles. It is only meant for knife furniture, such as titanium does not form carbides and isn't hard enough for a sound blade. We actually went over that just a bit ago with Alexis. Working Timascus is essentially the same as any other titanium alloy except when milling. The blended types of titanium have different hardnesses sandwiched throughout the bar stock. While the varying hard and soft areas can cause wear on the cutting edge of tools. Use round-cornered cutters as they will hold up better under machining. The Timascus is a beautiful fusion of old world decorative techniques and modern metal smithing. Okay. So it's also known as, like they also call it like mokutai or taimoku. Um, like there's a lot of different. It's relatively new. It's like what, 15 years old, just over 15 years old, as a process and as a material.
Yep.
But yeah, in my search, I found a place that sells it. They sell it in cubes, plates, rods. And I'm going to look into getting some. And but now, so what I kind of wanted to discuss. Let me close this down so I can read the chat and see. Deranged Metalworks. Oh man, he hasn't posted. Okay. So yeah, the process is not simply put it together, close it up, and forge weld. You have to put it into a container with inert gas, and from the illustration in the patent, the filed patent, it's pretty much the titanium takes up, probably looks like 90%, 99.9% of the space inside the container, and you're basically just filling any potential air gaps, removing the oxygen by putting an inert gas into it. So, much like stainless steel Damascus, which I've seen, you completely remove the oxygen from the environment using inert gases, and then you can heat it up and crushy, smashy, smashy to make Timascus. Howdy, Professor. So yeah, it's not as simple as grab a stack, toss it in your fire, and go. Won't quite work that way.
And also to consider is to forge weld it, you're going to be pert near 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes,
and that's hot.
Hence,
I mean, that is arguably beyond the range of a conventional gas or coal forge. You would probably, in my opinion, I don't know for sure, probably need something in the range of an induction forge to pull that off.
Which is something to keep in mind. Now, you heard the story of Ferry doing the experiments with it and almost burning his shop down. The only thing I can think of is he very likely had it, let's stick it in the fire and see what happens. Bring it up to, watch it with your goggles and see when you see that liquid, that beautiful liquid coating that steel and metals get when they're at forge welding temperature, and pulled it out and smushy hit it with his hammer and burned his shop down. So yeah, it's contain it, purge it, weld it. I'm planning on playing around with different combinations. Absolutely. But yeah, so go ahead.
And to be fair, I mean, when we read the stuff or whatever, it says, well, this is the only way you can do it. I mean, I thrive on trying to think outside the box and find an alternative way of doing it. Because I'm like, well, and don't get me wrong, it's like when I don't know, I like to disprove things that are just like common knowledge. Oh well, you can't forge weld if you've had copper in your forge. It contaminates the fire and it'll never work. Okay, well, I did try to prove that one wrong and have so far been unsuccessful. And melt off a little bit of copper off of a ground rod and leave it down on the bottom of my forge while I could try to do a forge weld. And I have yet to be able to make a forge weld happen in those conditions, but it doesn't mean I've given up on trying. Same thing with titanium. Just reading the information, it says, you really can't do this in your home forge. But, I mean, these people that patented the process, forge welding titanium or making Timascus was impossible until they figured it out. And so that doesn't mean that the way they figured it out is the only way it'll work. So,
Right. I mean,
by all means, get out there and I mean,
Be safe with it.
Yeah, be safe. Also realize, don't burn your shop down, but just document your process and write down or video what you're doing so that you remember how you did it. And okay, these are the steps that I took, and this didn't work. These are the steps that I took this time, and this didn't work. And then otherwise, you wind up getting to a spot where it worked. It worked. Okay, what did
I
don't
do?
know.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Because you've you've already tried it 5 or 6 times, and you don't remember which order you did things
which
in.
variable you changed.
Yeah, exactly. So isolating the variables one at a time or whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
Titanium. The melting point of titanium is 3,034. So the forge welding temperature is going to be right around 3,000, but 2,900 to 3,000 degrees. And if you were trying to do what's the other one that's the one that's impossible? Tungsten. If you were trying to do tungsten, you'd have to get 6,000 degrees. So.
But that's to turn it to liquid, right? That's the melting point.
Right. That's why I said that the melting point is 3,034. The forge welding temperature is going to be just below that.
Yeah.
Just like with steel, the forge welding temperature for steel is right below the melting point.
Yeah.
Where the top is getting that liquidy, glassy, it's just starting to melt on the surface. So
I love watching that.
And so to get to the forge welding temperature for titanium, you're going to need at least 2,900 and probably no more than 3,000. Because you get over 3,000, okay, so your altitude is going to vary. It's going to cause a variance in your melting temperature and whatnot. Just like the way the boiling point of water changes with altitude. At 10,000 feet, the boiling point of water is like 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and at sea level it's 212. So the same thing. The melting point of metals changes the same way. So your altitude is going to give a variance on that on the numbers that I quoted you. And so those are valid at sea level. So 3,034 degrees at sea level.
Sea level for life.
And then the higher up you go, the lower that number becomes. So until you get to the elevation of space, in which case it will vacuum weld at 2 degrees Kelvin. So
cold forge welding. Where's Roy?
But I really want to get some of this Timascus and just mess with it. I mean, like
I do too.
I don't know how or what I want to do with it just yet, but just because I know like getting it hot and beating on it is gonna suck, and so I don't know. We'll see. I got to figure out what I want to do with it first, and then order a piece that is close to what I want, close to my finished product. So I'm not having to take let's take a big old do some Alex Steel stuff where you take a piece of 5-inch round and then draw it out into 1-inch square on the power hammer and then make a set of dice.
What would be really cool? Okay, making tooling out, hot tooling out of Timascus. Okay, and here's why: because it changes colors and shows the patterns with different levels of heat. Imagine you have a Timascus set of tongs and you're grabbing the metal, and it's while you're holding the metal, it's changing, the colors are shifting. Or a Timascus, punch or drift where, as that bar heats up a little bit, it shows the color change along the bar. How cool would that be? I think to take advantage of the color change capabilities of it, using it for something that takes heat, or the interior of a toaster oven, how cool.
Right. Two things I wanted to touch on in the chat. Rob Bortgov says, DF in the shop debunked the copper no forge weld myth. Well, I mean, and my point is I have been unable to replicate that. So I was fairly certain that it would, that was the case. It was just, I was unable to do it. I think when I tried it, I cleaned the forge. I, started from scratch, built a fire, did a forge weld, and then melted off some copper into the bottom off of a piece of ground rod. And then, kind of rearranged everything and then tried to do a forge weld again and could not make it work. And I tried with Iron Mountain Flux. And I tried all kinds of different things that, and then finally I was just like, okay, I give up. Because I knew it would be possible because if you can make kumai, you can forge weld in the presence of copper. Okay. And so I knew it was possible. I just have still been unable to make it work. And I don't know if I'll ever revisit that or not, because it is commonly known that, all right, yeah, you can do it. But it was at the time, it was a challenge that I wanted to prove that could be done. And then I was unable to do it. And that really kind of gets my goat when I'm like, I know this will work, so I'm going to prove it. And then I can't.
Right.
Kind of like when I was like, oh, you can harden a railroad spike. Watch, snap,
Right.
And when I was at your shop, Yamez, I made that nail header out of a railroad spike so I could make my journeyman spike. And then halfway through, I broke it in half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
That's fun. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, but Kumai is, that'd be another interesting metal topic.
Okay, so if you've got layers of, because kumai is not just copper and steel. It is, but it's copper and it's 15N20 and it's carbon steel, and so there's a pattern of regular steel and copper in there. And granted, the copper is only like a molecule layer thick that is winds up being brazed to the steel. But yes, it is. Like the copper isn't forge welded, but the other steel in the process is forge welded. Say you don't make your two pieces of Timascus, I don't think, and throw the copper in there and then braze them together and then grind your knife out of it. I don't believe. I do believe it's kind of all done at the same time, but I could be mistaken because it's been a hot minute since I watched a video on that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Kumai would be an interesting, topic for the show at some point for that.
Right. Because it is current. It is the current rage is Kumai.
The current meta, as they say.
Right. And we should jump on that bandwagon before it rolls away.
I'm sorry, it rolled away. Yeah, Kumai and Moku Megane. I have my Moku Megane.
Moku Megane. That's what made Roy famous. So
yeah, just that, nothing else.
Yep.
Of
all of the great stuff that Roy's done, all of the great content. For us, it's great. We find his content to be quite exceptional. Of all of the things. Just a random little bit about making kumai out of a stack of quarters is what blew him up.
Yeah. Well, then I did it and nobody cared. But
yeah, how was that? Roy blew up by doing some makamegane, and then you do it and nothing happens. You're like, damn.
Nah, it's all right. I experiment. I play around. Like, I know tonight's show is going to be quite insane.
It is. I can't wait to talk all kinds of smack behind your back.
Because you all know I ain't gonna be able to pay attention to the chat.
No, I know, and you better not be. Obviously, when you're heating something up, take a quick thing, but don't get distracted and get Sparkly's bunch flying up, and then be melted all to hell and back. But no, I do enjoy, like, on your live streams at night, because it's not a me and you conversation. It's more about me and everybody else talking and just being able to talk smack about you, and then you come over and be like, well, I guess everybody's getting bored with what I'm doing, and it's like, Nobody's even watching what you're doing, Yamez. We're just talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
You're giving us the medium to have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm just the modern version of an AOL chat room.
Right, that's exactly right. But tonight's gonna
ASL.
You've got mail.
Yeah,
You're
but
female.
so anybody got any kind of questions on that? I mean, that's that's a pretty well-rounded topic. How to make it, and Alexis has the image behind saying what it looks like. And we discussed possible uses for it, and yeah. So with that, I guess we can move on to final thoughts and see what's up.
Yeah. So my final thoughts. I think a lot of us have worked with titanium in a limited extent from time to time, and some of us found it quite rewarding. Some of us found it quite frustrating. I'm in the frustrating bunch. Well, actually, I guess I'm in both camps.
I'm in the rewarding bunch.
Because the carbon fiber titanium buoy was very rewarding. That was I mean, it was a combination of stuff put together that nobody had ever really done before, and I really enjoyed the process of making that. Now the other bit, the forging of the titanium, that was very frustrating, and I will revisit that, and I will kick its ass at some point in the future, just not today. And as far as the I'm all pointing at my computer screen at the picture behind me. As far as the Timascus, man, I have got to get some of that and build something out of it because and I have no idea what it cost at when Yamez looked it up earlier. It was inquire for pricing. So I think I'm going to be making some inquiries as soon as I figure out what I want to do with it. And because, like I said, I don't want to buy a bunch that's going to be wasted because, we don't need wastage. And I also don't want to have to work it that far. So I'm going to build something out of Timascus, I think. Give me a month or two. And if you guys have the fiduciary ability to throw down and order a piece, I encourage you to do the same. Think of something. I personally, I would go with something simple because it's difficult. But think of something, and yeah, let's all make something out of Timascus and compare notes, shall we?
Yeah.
So with that, that's the end of my segment for the week, and I will catch you guys tonight on Yamez's live stream where he attempts the largest forge weld of his life, and after that, I'll see you guys next week. So, peace.
Yeah. I think if I were to get a chunk of Timascus, I would try and forge a little minifigure of Tim from Big Dog Forge out of Timascus, but that's just me. My final thoughts, huge shout out to the chat, to all my channel members, to all the super chatters, to the thank you to the mods for keeping it clean. Ben Toons, you're fired. Thank you to all you guys watching. I think it was a really great show today, and wouldn't be here without you guys. Well, I would. I'll talk to an empty room. I don't care. And I have. Big thanks to my co-hosts and co-pilots in all of this. Alexis from Transcendental Artist Studios and Adam from Speargrass Forge, who is still on his honeymoon. However, we do have him via satellite link to read you the parting info for where you can find us all. And if you bear with me, I can show you that.
Just say thank you very much for listening, guys. You can find Yamez on Island Metal Forge on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find Alex at Transcendental Artist Studios on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can find me, Adam, at Speargrass Forge on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have any suggestions for Tool of the Week, Metal of the Week, or any other topic, you can leave them under the hashtag Metal of the Week in the YouTube community chat in Discord, or you can email us at impracticalblacksmiths@gmail.com. If you found us on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Amazon Music, Audible, or Google Podcasts. We upload generally every Wednesday, or you can join us live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's currently 12:30 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time on Monday morning. However, you should check that against your local time, and that's located at the Island Metal Forge YouTube channel. Finally, thanks for joining us, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, or give us a star rating if you found us on one of the podcasts, and we appreciate your support. Now,
thank you very much, Adam. I appreciate that. Now get back to your Tasmanian adventure. So, yeah. I look forward to seeing everybody here and everybody else in the show tonight. And yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, don't forget to smoosh the like button on your way out if you haven't already.
Yep. I had 22 people watching and only 16 likes. Some of you guys did not do it. So do it anyway. All right, so you guys take care. I will see y'all later. Peace.